What is up, everyone? Conixis here, and welcome back to Sunrider Liberation Day Captain's Edition. And I know it's kind of maybe been a minute, and there's reason to why it's kind of been a minute. I've had some angering issues over the past few days. Some of which I don't know what was wrong with my computer, but I had to do a complete wipe of my computer, and, well, I lost Sunrider's data, so I had to fucking do it again. But your boy wasn't sitting through that shit again, so he did some things, and now the game is beaten again. But you can probably guess what those things are, but we'll not go into those things. But anyways, now that we're finally back, we can get into the re-story, because fucking hell, not only did I have to reinstall all my shit again, I had to do, oh my god, it was a long couple days, like fucking hell. I don't know what was wrong with my computer, but this reset seemed to have fixed whatever was going on. Like, I don't know, everywhere I went, even no one knew it was wrong, so just that good old fat nuke to the whole entire thing, and it seems to be working again. So, that's good. We're back with Sunrider. We're back with everything, and we can get started. So I don't know if I edited the recorder so it doesn't show the mouse, because I remember when I recorded Sunrider one time, the mouse lagged, so I don't know if it'll do it now, since everything is kind of like a brand new computer, but fucking hell, I guess we'll see. So let's start, and then let's go to return. Oh boy. Whoa. What is this? An alternate universe retelling of the main story, where Kato Shields mysteriously wakes up 3 days before Liberation Day massacre, somehow aware of who will betray him. Armed with the knowledge of the future, he embarks on a desperate race against time to change the bleak future. But will he successfully rewrite the past? Or will his story end with bloody death? Or will his story end with his bloody death? But, so we got like a shit ton of locks, and let's just do it, because we can't really do anything else. And I don't believe the return story has voice acting, because I know some people wanted me to do, like, turn off the story voices since I was reading, and it makes sense. Like, in the long haul when I was going over the recording, because I recorded all of it kind of in one shot, I was kind of like, it's kind of weird to hear myself trying to talk over these people, but hey. Anyways, I don't think this has any talking. If it does, we'll just turn it off. But anyways, from the moment humanity began to unravel the mysteries of the quantum theory, scientists and emperors alike became obsessed with singular technology. Oh? During the search for this holy grail, countless other findings which would come to greatly aid and terrorize humanity were discovered. The warp drive warheads, which could level entire continents faster than light communications. Even a massive doomsday weapon, which could extinguish entire stars, the Paradox Core. But all those powers were irrelevant next to what would be possible with the Holy Grail, a time machine. In its most simple application, one could undo past mistakes. If an action ended up causing an adverse reaction later in time, one could simply travel to before when the action was made and react differently, with the benefit of hindsight. The full implications of such a device were still far from awesome. One could stop aging, freeze time for everyone else but oneself, and perform an unlimited number of actions while everyone else was frozen. Translocate other people and objects anywhere at any time, become older, become younger. Given an infinite amount of time, one could become anyone and accomplish anything. By no exaggeration, someone with a time machine would not be a human, but a god. Oh, it's Alice. Alice Ashida pondered those thoughts as she walked through the diode cloning facility. Her steps took her to a familiar location, her old office. So even this detail has been recreated exactly as before. It was here where, for the merest sliver of a second, she brushed her fingers against that almighty power. The Paradox Project. The galaxy's greatest and most dangerous minds had gathered here in the furthest corner of the galaxy to finally attain what had eluded humanity for so long. They were exiled Alliance researchers and new Imperial scientists deemed dangerous even for the tyrants of New Eden. But attempt after attempt, year after year, they had failed to produce results. Computations done through their best supercomputers and artificial intelligences failed to yield breakthroughs. It was then they realized such knowledge was beyond their comprehension of mere humans. I said there. Beyond the comprehension of mere humans. They needed to create a new race capable of thought processes beyond the capacity of even the most gifted of Homo sapiens. First, a prototype was created, Alice Asaga. They watched her, raised her as one of their own, even gave her the surname of the director of the Paradox Project, who assumed the role of her father. But it was all a lie. Humans created me for their own ends and tossed me away the moment I fulfilled my use. The prototype produced some promising results, accomplishing what supercomputers in the galaxy's best minds could not. Alice successfully translocated molecules by fractions of a second, a breakthrough procedure even before the artificial girl had turned 16. Using the lessons learned from the prototype, the Alpha was finally created. Alice's teeth clenched. Those scum created my sister and I just so we could be tools in their search to become gods. But I stopped their plans, and I saved the both of us. The prototype proved far more difficult to control than her creators believed. She accidentally discovered the truth of her existence. Her belief that she was a normal human girl who lived with her caring parents in a research station was shattered that day, the first of many pieces of her sanity which could break following that. Oh god, sorry, they. Yes. It was here when I struck down my father with my very hands. What else could I do? I was merely a test run. They were going to toss me away like an obsolete machine. I had no choice. I was going to rescue my sister and escape this prison. But Alice's life did not have such a happy conclusion. My sister. Alpha's voice disrupted Alice. Her younger sister approached her. Alpha touched Alice's eye with her index finger. A single droplet of tear ran down her finger as she wiped Alice's eyes. Your thoughts, they're bleak. Alice turned around, putting her back to her sister. She closed off her mind so her younger sister would not see the depths of her madness. Why do you retreat to the abyss so? Soon we shall control all of humanity under our grasp. We will rule those who sought to control us. Our spy continues to make great inroads into controlling the world. Be savior of humanity, the mighty Captain Shields. If he continues to follow our plan, then both the Alliance and Pact will unify, and when the Ebon Fleet arrives, he will rally the galaxy against humanity's greatest threat. As a result of that conflict, he will become not merely captain, but something far more powerful. And with his greatest love, our proxy controlling him, we will rule the galaxy from the shadows, constantly leading him down the path we desire. Such is our destiny, no? We were created to be greater than them. No. Human filth, savages. The galaxy would do better if every last trace of them were wiped from existence. Alpha suddenly embraced her sister from behind. It will not be long, my sister. You have suffered, but I seek to create a universe where we can finally be safe. Yes, a galaxy where we can be safe. Alice stiffly touched her sister's hand. I will go and create that. This is the only way. My sister is yet naive. She does not understand the threat the humans pose. Alice took her sister's arm off her and walked away by herself. I will return to the front lines, and I am taking that with me. That accursed machine. I will need her for what is to come. Be safe, my sister. Nah, she gonna die. I shall return, and when I do, the galaxy shall have changed. Oh yeah, it changed. Now it's all out war even more. Oh. With that, Alice Ashida walked into the shadows. Fucking hell. Shields tossed and turned in his sleep. Vivid images flashed in his mind. This was different from the other nightmares, the ones he would have of blood-soaked faces at Ungus, where that young girl would die again and again. He would see her pick up the knife every time, but despite knowing what was going to happen, his body would be paralyzed. Then her face would morph into his sister, Murray.
You killed me.
No, tonight's nightmare was different. Oh! Oh! Oh, you fuck! Stop with the jump scares! God damn it! I was not prepared for that noise! God damn it! I was like all up close to the screen so I can fucking read, and then BAM! That noise and that flash, like fuck you! Oh god! It just flashed by, too quick to decipher, but something horrible had happened. No, will happen. He was going to make a horrible mistake. Suddenly he jolted awake. He realized he was in his bed. He shook his head, relieved he was just having a nightmare. Wait a minute. He felt someone sleeping beside him. What the hell? Shield spun around and pulled the covers off his bed, revealing a certain pink-haired doctor nestled next to him. Goddamn! Shield leaped out of his bed and stood upright as a steel rod, eyeing Claude with outrage. Certainly he had known the ship's doctor would go to any lengths to molest him, but to actually break into his quarters after hours. Besides, his room was locked with the strongest encryption protocol on board the ship. Ikari had seen to it that his door would not be broken into ever again. Just how did this buffoon of a doctor get here? For a moment he tried to recall if he had been drinking heavily in the mess hall before arriving at his quarters. No doubt this lecherous doctor would have used such a lapse in his defense to latch onto him into his bedside. Thankfully, he recalled that he had merely been filling out paperwork the whole night, before finally deciding he had had enough and resigning himself to listening to Ava's lectures in the morning. Claude opened her eyes with a yawn.
Good morning!
Good morning? How did you bypass the security to get in here? Oh no, not Ada! Oh god! Claude stood from her bed. Not from her. Fucking hell, I'm high. Anyways, Claude stood from the bed, her hair a mess.
It was such a pitiful sight, Captain. Looking at your sleep-deprived face every day. As a ship doctor, I had to do something to remedy your sleep disorder, stat. Of course, the best remedy would be to continue deep sleep after pounding your white-hot vanguard into a woman of your dreams. So I, Claude Trilio, stepped up to the task. Yes, sir. You can use this body however manner you desire. Your acting medical officer is ready to serve under, above, in front of, and behind you, Captain. Oh god, her voice, I haven't done this in a while, so it's weird getting that high tone. Shields rubbed his face in irritation, the conversation obviously not going anywhere. Hey, cut it out. I'm asking you to tell me what you're doing here. Well, I'm sure it'll become clear soon enough.
What? As if on cue, Shields heard the door to his cabin open. The hell? He quietly knelt down beside his bed. If there was another intruder in his office, then it would mean that the security protocols on his door had failed entirely. He still had bad memories of what had happened the last time someone had broken into his room, and wasn't about to take any chances this time. He quietly reached into his closet and withdrew a concealed pistol. He signaled to Claude to hide behind him. Shields grimaced when Claude gripped onto him from behind, her massive boobs leaving 2 impressions on his back. God damn it! She whispered into his ear.
Captain, actually, the gun won't be necessary.
How do you know that?
Because?
Suddenly, Shields heard Chigara's voice upstairs. Chigara? What was she doing in his office at this time? Granted, someone as talented as her could easily crack Kakari's security protocols, but why would she... Oh, okay. Suddenly he felt something tear through his psyche, as if a bullet had just gone through his temple. Chigara, she... But what he saw next completely shattered the remaining bits of his mind. Come on, before the commander sees us. It was him! Oh! Oh! Nani! Shields watched his jaw agape as his identical clone took Chigara's hand and plopped her on top of his lap on his desk. What was going on? Even though his first instinct was to barge into Chigara and his clone's little romantic rendezvous, gun in hand, and demanded answers, his military training kept him firmly hidden behind his bed, looking for an escape route. He racked his brain for possible explanation for this bizarre turn of events. Could this be a packed plot? Did they embed a spy wearing a hollow mask to impersonate him? No, that would never work. First off, anyone boarding the ship was subjected to a full DNA scan. Then it would be the prototypes that seemed then could it be the prototypes? That seemed the possibility, as they had a massive army of clones. They could have acquired his DNA sample somewhere. All it would take to breed a second Kato Shields would be a strand of his hair, left somewhere unwillingly by him. But it would still take a lifetime of training for a clone to successfully imitate him, and there was no way someone as intimate as... Oh god, someone as intimate with him as Chigara would fall for a trick like that so easily. He had to calm his racing mind. For now, he had to escape detection and alert the ship's security, or something. He racked his brain for what the proper protocol for dealing with the doppelganger of the ship's captain was, but for some reason he couldn't remember being taught anything about it during his training in the Space Force Academy. Perhaps he had slipped through that. I mean, what would you do? How would you deal with a clone situation? What? Claude's just like, yeah, I'm a god, so I knew this. Anyways, but of course, the ship, the design had left the open number of secret escape routes he could use to leave his room. A warship was an inherently dangerous locality. Oh god, poor yawning. God damn it. And so a large number of concealed passageways, what the hell, crisscross, my bad, the ship so that the crew would not be stranded in an event of the ship's lost structural integrity. Shield slowly opened his closet and tore off the carpeting below, exposing an access gate to a tunnel leading to Deck 0. To his relief, the gate still accepted his commands after he swiped the ID chip located on his sleeve on the security scanner. He opened the gate and motioned Claude to follow him. Oh god, what is going on, Mo? We need to alert Ava and everybody else! After climbing down the tunnel, the pair dropped down from the ceiling onto the floor of the hallway. Shields immediately turned to Claude and interrogated her for answers. Seems like you have a better idea than I do about just what the hell's name is going on here. I want answers, Doctor.
This is a surprise. You really don't remember anything.
I can remember everything just fine. I'm Captain Kato Shields of the assault carrier Sunrider. We arrived at Sarah yesterday to take part in a critical operation to liberate our home world from back Loyalist forces in conjunction with the Alliance Combined Fleet.
But can you remember what happened after that?
After we arrived at Sarah, I spoke with the Rider team in the mess hall. Then I returned to my office to do some paperwork, and then next thing I knew, I was in bed with you.
So you have no memory of what happened after the operation.
What the hell are you talking about? How
would I know what happened after the operation? How would I know what happened after? The operation hasn't even begun yet. It appears you're suffering some memory loss thanks to your first temporal translocation. But don't worry, in just a few hours, all your memories of what happened will return.
Shield's brain spun at a disturbingly high frequency of what Claude was implying. Temporal translocation, memory loss. He had known Claude was a ditz, but this was on an entirely different level from her usual antics. There was no question to something out of the galaxy was happening, though he had just witnessed his body his body double flirting with Chigara as if it was the most casual thing in the world. He closed his eyes and tried his best to remember just how he got here. Oh, fucking hell, that noise! Those images again. Bloody flashes of horror flashed in his head. He had no idea where they took place or when, but he knew Chigara was somehow involved. Those aren't just images, they're my memories, aren't they?
Ah, did you remember something, Captain?
Ugh, massacre. Everything we worked for destroyed. Horror.
Ah! Knowing that much, I guess I can fill you in about the rest. 3 days from now, a disaster will occur at Sarah, which...
Well, I guess since she's serious, Claude, I can give her the more serious voice I gave her before.
3 days from now, a disaster will occur at Sarah, which will thrust humanity into a war so devastating it will make the Neutral Rim War look like a mere playground scuffle in comparison. I'm sure you already have a premonition, but Chigara will be the catalyst who will spark that disaster. I brought you here to rewrite the past to prevent that disaster from occurring.
Once again, Shield's head received another bombshell of revelation. What was Claude even saying? Bring him back to rewrite the past? Something like that was impossible. Suddenly more memories played back in his head. You're telling me Claude is a time traveler?
No, far more than that. If such an entity could be given a name, then the closest description of her would be Claude is a god.
Shield rubbed his spinning head and fought back the mounting nausea. While his understanding of what had or will happen was still foggy, like trying to recall a dream he had seen months ago, Claude's seemingly impossible... Oh yeah, I had to skip some stuff, so just in case I accidentally hit skip, let's go to just scene again, because I was just trying to get through the game before. Anyways, while his understanding of what had or will happen was still foggy, like trying to recall a dream he had seen months ago. Oh yeah, I also did the game again, and I did it, like, with the opposite options I chose from the beginning, and Ava didn't have the eye patch and everything, so... Will it bring over that save, or will it bring over the other save? How will this work? Because I know Ava's supposed to be a part of this, so... If it gives her no eye patch and shit, I'm gonna go and beat the game again real quick and see if that changes anything. But, I don't know. Let's see. Claude's seemingly impossible explanation seemed to validate by what fragments of memories he still retained. Okay, then. We alert the ship's security, then detain Jagar. Problem solved, right?
Actually, Captain...
He shook his head at his own naivete. Of course, resolving this wasn't going to be that simple. For all intents and purposes, the Catal Shield's hitting on Chigara in his office right now was the captain everyone accepted in this timeline. If he just revealed himself now, he would be the one to get detained and questioned. And given his doppelganger's infatuation with the chief, he doubted that convincing him that she was a spy would be easy, especially from inside a brig cell. The fact that he had less than 72 hours to stop the massacre meant he couldn't afford to risk getting confined in the brig for the duration of the coming battle. He had to take a more covert approach. No, the proper protocol in such a situation would be to confine the captain's doppelganger in the... Wait, what? To confine the captain's... I mean, you're talking about yourself, so why didn't you just say my doppelganger in the brig for further questioning, which to everyone in this timeline would be me. Which... Oh yeah, I guess he was speaking... Okay, I understand. We can't afford to blow our cover. We'll have to approach this differently. We recruit one person to help us, someone we can trust. Then the three of us work from the shadows to prevent the disaster from occurring.
Oh, I see. Understood, Captain. Then who shall we recruit to our cause?
He gave that question a long thought. That person would have to be... Oh, well, of course, Asaga, she would fucking believe me! Let's make a What is all this? No, that's all the... I don't know. I had a second save, but I think I was in autosave and I saved there. So, the second gameplay that I did, so we'll do this one and that, just in case we have to. Okay, so we can either Asaga, Ava, Sola, or Kari. Well, we're gonna go down the list, because we're gonna do everyone, so let's... Asaga would be my first choice, because she'd be the first to believe me. Nobody else is going to believe a wacky story like this, except for Asaga. The ship's ace pilot and self-proclaimed hero of justice would of course be more than eager to join this secret mission to save the galaxy. No other person in S.H.I.E.L.D.'s entourage had a bigger enthusiasm for crackerjack adventures. Alright, I made my decision. We're going to recruit Asaga. Come on, let's go find her.
Oh, okay, let's go!
T-minus 63 hours until Liberation Day Massacre, 27 hours until Chigara enters the mine stream. Oh. Knowing Asaga, she would most likely be in the hangar, practicing in the simulator. I mean, would it be safe to move around? Because, you know, like, fucking, if he's seen on camera there, and he's seen on camera somewhere else, wouldn't that raise suspicion? He has to be sneaking around like pro sneaks. Anyway, Shields and Claude snuck, okay, good, onto the floor of Deck 2, and headed to the Blackjack, hitting amongst the steel frames with riders. Sure enough, they found Asaga hanging out around her rider with a distant face. I thought she was gonna be staring, but it's that face!
What was I doing? I've been losing my temper so easily lately. I hope Sola doesn't start hating me. I'll have to apologize to her later. After all, Sola's the only person I have left now.
Shields whispered to Asaga, cutting into her thoughts. Psst, Asaga, over here!
Captain! Is something the matter?
Yeah, I need your help. It's kind of an emergency. The safety of the ship... No, the entire galaxy is at stake. Those were the only words needed to snap Asaga out of her doldrums.
Oh, right! I'll be right over!
Asaga joined the two time travelers in a secluded corner of the hangar. The trio whispered to each other.
So, what's the situation, Captain?
Shields thought to himself as to how best to explain the obviously. I mean, like I said, the minute you say, Chigara bad, Asuka's like, oh hell yeah! Fuck her up! So you don't even have to, like, really word it. Asuka's on that hate train right now. All you gotta do is just put her against Chigara and she's on board. How to explain this obviously convoluted situation to Asaga. It turns out you were right after all, and Chigara really is a prototype. I had the doctor here run more detailed biometric scan, and there's no question about it anymore. She really was a spy all this time. Asuka's eyes lit up with excitement.
I knew it! Somehow I could feel it in my gut, you know? I'm glad it wasn't just me going crazy. So, are you going to detain her?
That's the problem. We can't do anything which will tip off the prototype that we're onto them. I mean, like I said, if you explain the full situation, Asuka would 100% still be on board. You didn't even have to lie. You could have just told her and Asuka would be like, yeah, that makes sense. As long as she gets her mans, I'm pretty sure she would have been on board. Anyways, everything I just said is top secret, spoken between just the three of us, okay? In fact, I'll just play along with Chigara like I've done in the past. We'll be working in the shadows to unravel their plot, but publicly, we're still being fooled.
Understood, Captain. So, do you know what exactly the prototypes plan to do?
That is... Now this is where things get really complicated. 3 days from now, we'll have defeated Pact and liberated Sarah, but the whole thing... That was a hiccup. God damn it. But the whole thing's a trap to gather Admiral Gray and the entire Alliance military leadership all into a single victory celebration, where the prototypes will spring a trap and massacre everyone. The ringleader of the trap will be Chigara.
I see. So basically, we have 3 days to stop this mass assassination from happening, without tipping the prototype off that they've been found out.
Yeah, that's basically the situation.
Alright, that sounds exactly like the plotline of some spy film. Sign me up, Captain!
Shield sighed in relief at how easily— I told you, even if you explained it the real way, she probably still would have accepted it. Like, no shit. Like, you have Claude and yourself backing you, so if you said time travel, bad lady, unless you're not allowed to like, mess with the time— I don't know. Anyways, Shield sighed in relief at how easily Asaga accepted the situation. As if it'd been anyone else, no doubt they would have had a mountain of questions and doubts, Ava. She was right in trusting that. Well, I mean, Ava believed that Chigara was bad too, so she probably would have been on a little bit. He was right in trusting. And since Sola knew about Claude being a god, the minute he saw those two, she saw those two together, Sola probably would have been like, there's some funky shit going on here. I don't like where this is going. He was right in trusting that Asuka would be up to the task.
Alright.
Now we had to put their next course of action into motion. Unfortunately, he hadn't given this part much thought himself. It looked like he would just have to come up with something on the fly based on the fragmented memories he had of the chain of events which led to the Liberation Day massacre. According to our intel, Chigara will enter the prototype's mindstream tomorrow during the battle for Sarah. It will be at the moment when she receives a neural message, which will brainwash her into carrying out the assassination. We must take every action to ensure that she does not enter the mindstream. Seems like a simple enough solution. From what I can remember, Chigara, as she is now, would be utterly incapable of killing a single insect, much less a room full of people. The sole cause of Chigara's actions that day was her body being controlled by the leader of the prototypes, who I had all presumed to have died on the Nightmare Ascendant. If we were to simply prevent Chigara from being mind-controlled, then the massacre would never happen.
I see. So right now, she's like a sleeper agent who doesn't even realize she has a secret mission to assassinate the Alliance military leadership.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Understood, Captain. Then I'll keep my eye on her and make sure she doesn't try communication with the other prototypes. I'm glad.
Asaga?
All this time, I was afraid that Chigara was going to take you away forever. I thought for sure you were gonna get fooled by her. I guess I wasn't giving you enough credit, Captain? Alright, here's the big chance I've always been waiting for. You can do it, myself! Hey, Captain, does this mean you trust me?
Asaga? Suddenly more memories flashed by. This time, the images playing back in Shield's head didn't cause pain. Instead, it filled his heart with ease. A warm embrace. A feeling of relief when he heard her voice over the comm in that life pod. It was Asuka who had found him out there, drifting in space. Even though the details were still fuzzy, he could sense that this girl loved him the most out of all the girls on board the ship. I mean, you ain't wrong. I truly believe that too, that Asuka loves him the most out of everyone here, even Chigara. Like, Asuka fucking loves this man, and it's so pure that it's perfect. Anyways, canon ship is him and Asuka, because fucking hell, they just go strong. Like, fucking hell, of course I trust you, Asuka. You were always here, watching my back.
Huh? What the hell was up with that sudden development? It feels like the captain totally just forgot about Chigara. Man, does this mean that he was just acting lovey-dovey before with Chigara to mess with the prototypes all this time? He sure got me good with that act. I feel like a total idiot now. That sure is a ton off my back. Hey, Captain, after all this is over, let's ride off into the sunset together. A big kiss and all, just like in the movies, alright? Asaga sure gotten bold, eh?
Oh god, the fucking damn it! Oh god! Fucking hell, no, Claude, don't be the only son. Fucking hell.
Of course I have. Besides, the captain said he trusts me, right? So what's the big problem? What, you have a problem? Well, do ya?
Asaga. But before he could answer Asuka's feelings, the klaxon sound. The hangar crew sprang into action. The ship went into condition red. Men and women readied the riders for immediate action. Shit, I forgot!
Aw, crap, got a sortie. I just confessed my love, too. I just raised my own death flag.
Oh, Asuka looked around in a panic.
Forget about that now. Captain, we better make ourselves scarce.
Okay, Asuka, stay safe out there. Shield's words managed to calm Asuka down.
Alright, I'll be back.
With that, Claude and Shields tore away from the hangar. Shield's recollection was coming back. It was about the time where Pack Fleet advanced, choosing to launch a frontal attack using their riders to decimate the Alliance's shield cruisers, so that their battleships could whittle down the Alliance fleet from a distance using laser attacks. Everything was happening exactly as the same as before. He heard Asuka's voice over the ship-wide intercom.
All hands!
Oh, Asuka, Ava, my fucking god, I saw an Ava and just immediately said Asuka. All hands, battle stations, the Pack Fleet is approaching our position.
Oh, we can't let the crew see you here.
Claude opened the maintenance tunnel and crawled inside.
In here, hurry!
Despite knowing that another Kato shield was no doubt rushing to the bridge right now, he couldn't help but feel like a pathetic coward crawling inside the maintenance tunnel to hide through the battle. No, my place was on the bridge. I have to protect everyone. Finally, his better sense reigned in his emotions. No, he just had to leave that up to Asuka and the rest of the crew. He wasn't going to protect anyone by marching to the bridge right now. Shield swallowed his pride and crawled into the maintenance shaft. Well, I mean, technically, if he got there first, when the other Kato got there, he could be like, "It's a fake! Who is this?" Yeah, and then they detain him. No one would know. Anyways, Claude shut the gate, swallowing the two of them in the darkness. All Shields could hear was the pounding of his heart, sweat dripping down his eyebrows, tickling his nose and filling his mouth with the taste of sulfur. In a surreal moment, he heard his own voice over the intercom. All hands, prepare for anti-rider combat! Shortly afterwards, the dull drumbeat of the Sunrider's flak guns echoed through the tunnel. The hull creaked as shrapnel from the intercom missiles harmlessly bounced off the ship's armor. Every passing moment felt like torture. Shields had grown so accustomed to the being in command that the idea of being helpless trapped inside a hole churned his stomach. He closed his eyes and prayed that Asuka would be safe. He would always be able to see the blackjack on the battle map when things got too dicey. He would be able to order her to turn around. But what would the Kato shields on the floor of the bridge right now do? Did he even care for her as he did? No, he didn't care for her as much as you do now, but he does care for her, so, you know, like, I mean, she survived. Well, I mean, she's gonna be trying harder now because of the whole plan, so she might do something dangerous, but who knows? Suddenly, Ava's shrill voice on the intercom broke his thoughts. All hands, brace for impact! Shields did his best to grip the walls of the tunnel, but was still thrown completely to the flat on his face against the massive shockwave. The tunnel bent and fuses burst, covering him with sparks. He knew this sensation, a hit that the size could only mean that the Pack's battleship Quantum Torpedo had gotten past their flak net and scorched a direct hit, or scored, my bad. God damn it, what the hell was that buffoon on the bridge doing? He's you! He's doing what you did! He wiped the blood from his lips and pulled himself up. Smoke seeped in from the gate, meaning that the hallway outside was now on fire. Shields cautiously opened the gate by a sliver and peeked outside, only to come face to face with a raging inferno. Oh Jesus. Crewmen pulled the flame retardant hoses from the walls and struggled to put out the fire. Shield spotted a technician lying on the floor, his uniform matted with blood. The fire approached him, threatening to swallow him whole. If I jump out now, I can still save him. I have to do something, but it would mean blowing my cover. Ah! I mean, what? Kato, this is interfering with the time shits. You don't save people in the time shits. Like, that's not how it works. Guys, what do you think we should do? Should we do bad options first or good options first? Because the smart option would be not to blow my cover. Because if this happened in the normal timeline, then this guy was meant to die. So I cannot jump in and save him. But, who knows? Maybe that's the good option. I don't think it is, but maybe. Let's go for bad options this time, and then we'll go for good. So let's save the crewman. I'm still the captain of this ship. I can't hide in this hold like a coward when my crewmen are risking their lives out there. With that, Shields pushed the gate open and left the tunnel.
Captain, where are you?
I'm not going to let a member of this ship die!
Captain!
Sorry about that, guys. Anyways, ignoring Claude's protest, Shields pulled the hose from the wall and battled the flames, which were fast approaching the wounded technician. When Shields finally reached him, he knelt down and checked his vitals. Still alive. Good. Shields hoisted the technician up and carried him toward the other crew. Captain? The decan's eyes widened as the captain of the ship emerged from the flames and passed an unconscious crewman. Make sure he gets to the sickbay. That's an order, sailor. The Decan trading took control and he snapped to attention. Sir! Shields gritted his teeth. He had to lead the damage control operations here. Without warning, the ship shook again. This time, he heard the sound of mechanical swang, as if something was cutting through the hull of the ship. What the? Oh, hi there! Suddenly, the ceiling gave way, and the hunter drone dropped down, spraying the hull with bullets. Shields barely had time to take cover behind some debris. 2 crewmen were cut down by the bullets before his very eyes. Hunter drones? The hell? Oh, God damn it. The arrival of the hunter drone triggered another memory. No, he couldn't afford to get distracted here. He had received some instruction about invasion drones during his training, but had figured they saw limited practical applications after never encountering one on the field. Indeed, this was the first time he had ever seen them deployed during the ship-to-ship operations. Shit, this just makes my life that much more complicated. If I don't do something here, then that drone's going to massacre everyone on the deck. But right now, I'm totally unarmed. Shields looked around and saw a pistol lying beside the fallen crewman. It would take far more than that to down the mechanical hunter drone, but it was something. All these fucking choices! God damn, we're gonna have a lot of fucking saves! Grab the pistol and attack the drone! There were still crewmen here. He couldn't back down now. Shields gritted his teeth and rolled across the floor, picking up the pistol. He sprayed the drone with bullets before taking cover behind the hallway side support. It harmlessly bounced off the drone's armor, merely drawing attention to Shields. Not enough, huh? But I've got another trick. He remembered that the drones used a combination of thermal imaging and optical sensors to target foes with their raging fires. The drone's thermal sensors were probably fired, and it most likely relying solely on its optics. If he could just put up some smoke, then the drone would have turned blind. He pointed his gun to a nearby pipe, feeding the flame of go away, menu! Feeding a flame retardant hose, and took it aim. With a carefully aimed shot, he punctured the pipe, causing a stream of white gas to erupt and engulf the drone. Here's my chance! His contents swelling, Shields leapt and approached the drone, plastering it with bullets, but now the hall was filling with thick gas. He could no longer see it either. Suddenly he was knocked off his feet by the drone's enormous leg. He collapsed to the floor, his ribs painfully cracking. Oh god, I'm gonna die. The drone rotated in circles, clearing away the gas. Did the programmers of the drone already see through such a tactic and devise a countermeasure? Shields cursed the fool coder who made such a sadistic AI and desperately looked around for a bigger weapon. Despite his fractured ribcage, he painfully picked himself off the ground, his body flooded with adrenaline. He faced down the steel automaton like a naked ancient man facing down a panther. He leapt out of the way just as the drone's minigun started spinning, but it was too late. Oh. Ah! In a moment of disbelief, he fell backwards. His legs were reduced to the composition of salsa by, oh god, the torrent of bullets. He could only look up to see a drone approaching him. That was the last thing he saw was the drone minigun beginning to spin once more. Bad end, gun down! Oh god, there's gonna be multiple bad ends! Fuck!
Well, Captain, if you had just listened to me and stayed inside the tunnel, this sort of thing wouldn't have happened. What more, you seriously thought you could take on a mechanized hunter drone with just a pistol? I can't believe you passed officer training like this. Try again. This time, either staying inside the tunnel or choosing not to fight the drone. Shield's recollection was coming back. It was about... oh, okay, so I'm gonna just load then. Like, I'm not gonna go through all that again. Grab the pistol and fall back. No matter how we considered this tactical scenario, a group of crewmen and a captain armed with nothing but a pistol were no match for a mechanical hunter drone. They had to perform a tactical retreat. Shield shouted orders to the other crewmen. Everyone fall back! Find cover! That drone will tear you apart! Sir! Shields and the repair crew quickly fell back, coming to an airlock gate. This should hold the drone back. Once everyone ran through the gate, Shields pounded the close button, dropping an 8-inch thick wall of steel between themselves and the drone. Everyone dropped to their knees in relief. Shields took the opportunity to survey the situation. If you have heavy weapons? No, sir. Fire Control Crew C reporting for duty. We have a sidearms. The closest armory is 300 meters from here. Come on, let's go! Just as Shield spoke those words, an ear-shattering explosion shook the airlock. The steel gate dented inwards as if it had just been pounded by a train. Oh god. The drone was still armed with an anti-armor cannon. This gate wasn't going to hold it forever. Come on, everyone! Move! 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 The crewmen and Shields ran as fast as their feet would carry them away from the gate, but it was too late. With another chest-bursting explosion, the reinforced steel gate burst behind them in a massive fireball. Duck and cover! Shield slammed a young repairman who looked fresh out of school against the wall just as the drone sprayed the hole with lead. He looked around. Was this their end? If only they had a grenade or something. Captain! Suddenly, he saw Claude running down the hall with an enormous bazooka over her shoulder. Claude, how and why? That's the way! Shields prepped the drone with small firearms, drawing its attention away from Claude. Claude knelt down on one knee to stabilize the bazooka and took aim. They don't call me boob rockets for nothing! Oh god. The rocket shot out from the front of the bazooka, the recoil knocking Claude flat on her back and missed the drone spectacularly, digging a massive cavity into the ceiling of the hallway. Shields hissed through his teeth. You idiot! Just then, a massive steel beam fell from the ceiling thanks to the force of the rocket's explosion and pinned the drone down. Shields took the opening to roll where Claude was, lying on the floor, and picked up the bazooka. He took aim and scored a direct hit on the bazooka's control tower. With a satisfying explosion, the drone's brains burst, spewing fire and steel in every direction. The husk of the now dead mechanical beast finally lost power and went limp. With an enormous exhale, Shields dropped the bazooka to his side. The other crewmen poked their heads from the cover in disbelief. Slowly their expressions turned from white terror to exhilaration. Captain, you did it! You saved us all! Captain! 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 Oh boy. Shield suddenly realized the crewmen chanting his name in the hallway may not be in his best interest. Anyways, what are you doing here? With Fire C crew? He looked around now, searching for the best way to beat a hasty exit. I have to get back to the bridge. Good work, Fire Crew C. Did you hear that? The captain said we did good work. Of course he did, kid. We risk our necks every day to keep this ship safe. Haha, I'm gonna tell everyone in the mess hall about this. Oh boy, Shield and Claude beat it while the crewmen laughed amongst themselves. He looked back. Despite blowing his cover, he smiled in spite of himself. He had no regrets. T-minus 53 hours before Liberation Day Massacre, 17 hours in Chicago. Ugh.
Shields had enough of this nightmare situation. He stood and emerged from the cargo crate, taking in a huge breath of fresh air. He just spent the past 6 hours cooped up in a small cargo crate with Claude. The ship had shook and jolted as it graved its invasive maneuvers and took hits until it felt as if he was going to suffocate against Claude's voluptuous body. Oh, baby. For what seemed like an eternity, he suffered indignity after indignity, while Claude seemed to thoroughly enjoy every moment of his suffering. Feeling thoroughly violated, he stepped out into the outside world, feeling like a man re-emerging into society after a long prison sentence. With the ship now returned to condition yellow, for now it appeared the battle had concluded. After checking that the situation was clear, he pulled Claude from the crate. Come on, the coast is clear. Let's sneak back to the hangar to meet up with Asaga. The two of them wandered into the hangar, lurking under the shadows of the rider bays again. They found Asaga waiting for them beside the Blackjack's maintenance bay.
Oscar de Ruvia, returning from duty, sir. Death flags have nothing on me.
Hopefully, it's bad ends! Anyways, welcome back. Good to see you in one piece.
And I now have a lead thanks to what happened during the battle.
Shields remembered what Asaga was talking about. During the battle, the Liberty's shouldered maneuvering valve was fractured, sending it into an uncontrollable spin. While Jagar was injured, his past self had sent her into the sick bay on the safe side. We could nab Jagar while she's sleeping in the sick bay and hide her somewhere for the duration of the battle. But we have another problem.
But I thought all we had to do was prevent her from entering the mine stream.
I haven't quite explained the entire situation yet. Sorry. The pack forces under Frontana's command scheduled to reinforce the Combine fleet tomorrow actually have been sabotaged by the prototypes. There's a Trojan virus embedded deep in their ship systems, which will allow the prototypes to hijack the control of the ships using the hyper brainwaves. Jagar will enter the prototype's mine stream, attempting to disrupt their control over Frontana's ships. However, during that time, the leader of the prototypes will embed herself into Jagar's mind, allowing her to consume control of Jagar during the award ceremony, even in the case that she is defeated. I honestly don't know the details of how the prototype's mind stream work, but from what I've heard from Lin, their bodies can be controlled by their leaders at any time, although the prototypes being controlled can resist to a certain degree as well, with a strong enough force of will.
I'm impressed! You're really knowledgeable about the prototypes, Captain. I guess you've been studying your enemy.
No, actually, I've learned all through first-hand experience. Yep. The problem is that if Jagar doesn't enter the mine stream, then we'll all die tomorrow when the prototypes assume command of all Fontana's ships. Unless, if we were somehow able to send an encrypted transmission to Fontana now, warning him of the Trojan, then he could potentially start devising a countermeasure right now. At the very least, he could pull his forces back so that the prototypes can't use the ships against us. There's an encrypted FTL communicator in my office. I could use that.
Oh, then that's the problem solved, right?
Shields couldn't help but feel guilty about leaving Asaga in the dark about the most important snippet of information, that he and Claude did not belong to this timeline, and so he couldn't just waltz into his office and use the comm whenever he felt like it. Looks like I'm going to also have to figure a way to sneak into my office while the other's self-occupied and have a little chat with Fontana.
Oh, another thing. So we gotta kidnap Jagar for nearly 24 hours, right? If we, just nab her from the sickbay, people are gonna realize that she's gone missing, and then they'll come searching for her, which will just tip off the prototypes that we're onto him.
Asaga had a point. If Jagar just vanishes into thin air, people are going to start asking questions. We've got to keep the fact we've kidnapped her a secret for as long as possible. How are we going to do that? Oh, fuck, another choice. God damn it. Well, we did this choice, so there's nothing different we can do here, so we can save over this one. Let's see, what do we have? We'll just take that risk. We have to kidnap Chigara as soon as possible, and there's no time to waste. There is a certain body double sitting in our brig right now who looks almost identical to Chigara. Do we really want to use Lin? Really? Wouldn't that be worse? I'm gonna go with the first option.
Understood, sir.
I mean, I mean, both options seem bad, but we'll see.
Understood, sir.
Now comes explaining the hard part. There's no other way to explain this plan to Asaga without revealing the truth. She'll believe you! Asaga, there's also something else I need to explain.
Shoot!
There's kind of another Kato shield on board this ship right now.
You mean the prototypes have a copy of you too?
Not quite. I'm not actually the captain, you know. I'm actually from the future. That's how I know everything I just told you. To me, I'm just recountering what I've already lived through.
That's like totally awesome, Captain! A real-life time traveler, holy shit!
Or holy shite! Hell yeah, she uses shite!
Holy shite! I've dreamed of something like this happening, but I never actually thought it would actually happen!
Asaga hopped up and down like a hyperactive girl upon receiving something she'd always wanted for a birthday present. I told you she'd be fine with it. She's totally fine with it. There was no point in even keeping it a secret. Yeah.
Can I get your autograph, Captain?
I'm not a celebrity, Asaga.
Actually, there's not quite the full situation either. There's also another Claude Trilio in the sickbay right now, tending to Chigara as we speak. What?
Come to think of it, Claude's position in this universe is no different from me. Of course, there'd also be another past Claude Trilio wandering about in this timeline too.
So we have to devise a plan to kidnap Chigara out from under my nose without my past self realizing what's going on.
Shields rubbed his head, so there was another wrinkle in his plan. Well, just have Asaga go in there and be like, "Hey, what's poppin', Chigara? Let's go hang out." Anyways, well, your past self's a time traveler too, so why don't you just walk up to her and explain the situation?
Sorry, Captain, but there's a certain reason why I can't do that. It might be related to the fabric of the universe tearing itself in half, in fact. I think it'd be best if I remain out of sight of my past self for the duration of my stay here, for all our sakes.
What the hell is Claude getting at here? If two gods meet and they're the same person, it will blow up the world! The entire existence of everything will implode if two gods who are the same person meets. That is some fuckery beyond the next level. Anyways, alright, then here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to go to the sickbay and distract this timeline's Claude, while Asaga sneaks in and wheels Chigara's medical trolley away. You two will take Chigara to the crew quarter 8, which is currently unoccupied, and wait until I arrive. I'll try to beat a hasty retreat as soon as I can. Once we've regrouped, Claude... Well, wouldn't this Claude know that you're not the Kato of this time? Wouldn't she just sense it in her senses? I mean, I don't know. Claude will use the floor access hatch to relocate Chigara to maintenance room D4, while Asaga runs to the mess hall and calls the other Kato shield out on the comm. And I'll use that chance to sneak into my office and send Fontana an encrypted call. Do you get all that?
Understood, Captain. Let's roll.
Alright, good luck. Meanwhile... Oh, hi, me. I haven't seen my sprite, so hi, me. The other Kato shield sat in his office trying to mind the battle plans for tomorrow's battle. However, his thoughts couldn't help but wander to Chigara, who was currently resting in the sickbay. Perhaps he should pay her a visit sometime before the battle. His doorbell rang. Come in. Capped. Oh no, it is I think it might have, I don't know, maybe. I think it took from the other save because Ava's fine. She should not be fine. I mean, I'm glad she's fine, but she shouldn't be. And our canon save. Let me make like a save here. I'll be back in like mere seconds for you. Okay, I'm back. So, you know, as I was doing that, the thought occurred in my head. You know, this is supposed to take place in an alternate universe. Who's to just say in this alternate universe, Ava's just fine? And I got scared that I was doing it all for nothing, but no, she has her eye patch. We're all good. We're canon again, guys. We're back on the canon. I had to replay this again, but it's all good because I seen it, so I was able to skip through mostly everything. And let me just make sure. Okay, yeah, skip is off because now I can't skip anymore. So I haven't seen this shit. So fucking hell, yeah. So yeah, we're all good. We're back on our canon. All the choices and everything else. We're back to it, guys. Anyways, Captain. Something the matter, Ava? I've come to report a truly strange anomaly on board this ship. An anomaly? Of what sort? You're going to have a hard time believing this, but I heard rumors circulating amongst the crew that you were at Deck 2 during the previous battle, and that you single-handedly took down a drone and saved an entire damage control team. What? I've heard some crazy rumors, but that's a new one. Now that one's new. During the battle, we were indeed struck by an experimental pack weapon, which was introduced by a hunter drone within the ship. Security has examined the wreckage of the drone and have confirmed that it was pack-made. I have summarized the incident in the latest report on your desk. Ava eyed the large stack of unread reports sitting beside him. Crap, haven't gotten to that one yet. Concerned by the rumors circulating amongst the crew and the findings of our security team, I took the liberty of examining the drone on my security footage and found this. Ava handed him a holo containing a video. His jaws dropped when he saw its contents. It was him and Claude, or at least two people who looked identical to themselves, wandering about the ship. What in hell's name? Indeed, I was shocked beyond words as well when I discovered this revelation. It appears there are two intruders on board this ship who have impersonated you, as well as our acting medical officer. Their purpose appears unclear. Shield stood from his chair, his heart now pounding. It could be a prototype plot. Apprehend these two intruders immediately. Put security on high alert. Review all of our security logs in the search of these doppelgangers. I want our Marines on armed patrol throughout the ship, but they are to capture the intruders alive. Sir! I knew that would happen. God damn it. Shields entered the sickbay. He had to distract this timeline's Claude long enough for his partner to nab Chigara out from under her nose. He grimaced to discover that Chigara was sleeping just 2 beds away from where Claude was working in her office. This was going to be harder than expected. But he had an idea. He pretended to walk over to Chigara and stand over her like he was concerned for her health. As expected, old Claude sniffed out his presence like a canine and creeped up behind him. She wrapped her arms around him from behind and put her face on his shoulder, tickling his ear with her pink wavy hair. This woman wears too much perfume!
Oh, Captain, I'm afraid Chigara's still sedated. You'll have to wait just a few more hours until she wakes up. I can understand why you'd want her back on her feet so soon as possible. The desperate look on the maiden's face as she sneaks into your quarters at the loneliest hours of the night for one last tryst before the final battle. Chigara doesn't know if she'll make it back, just in case I want to feel Captain inside before. I can imagine it all playing out like I'm watching a movie.
Okay, here's my chance. Shield slumped down as if dejected and let out a long sigh. I just don't know, Doctor.
I don't know about what?
Well, I'm actually here for counseling. You're the ship's acting medical officer, right? So your duties are also include looking after the mental health of the ship's crew as well as their physical health.
Well, yes, that's certainly true.
I've been wanting to talk to you, Doctor. It's about Chigara. I can't talk about it here in front of her.
Of course! Let me just get into my office and pull the covers closed. You can tell old Claude anything, Captain.
Claude practically pushed Shields into her office and drew the sliding wall closed, giving both of them privacy. Yes, it worked!
Now, what's the nature of the counseling you need, Captain?
Well, it's just that things are moving so quickly. It's been just over a week and we kissed for the first time, and she's already talking about things like marriage and children. Whenever she talks about how many babies she wants to have, I have to wonder, is this really the life I want for myself? God damn it! Is this really the life I want for myself? I'm ashamed to even look at myself in the mirror, Doctor. I can't believe I'm having these doubts right now.
Oh, Captain, don't you worry about a thing. It's completely normal to have unexpressed doubts when your partner advances a relationship too quickly. In fact, it's only inevitable because of the enormous amount of stress you two are under right now.
All she cares about is her bakery. I don't even know if I'm good at baking bread. I'm the starship captain, for crying out loud, Doc. I've worked my ass off for this commission, but to just have up and retire early for a bakery? But whenever she talks about that ruddy bakery, she has a dreamy look on her face, and I end up going along with it every time. Where's my input, Doc? Lately I've been... Is this like actual counseling? Oh, God! Where's my input, Doc? Lately I feel like I'm being railroaded down a certain path without any say in what I want. It's like my choices have just up and vanished.
Is that a poke at the developers because there's no more choice in the game?
Until like the very end. God damn it. Before this, I used to be a free man. I used to be able to make command decisions. I used to be able to rip up rule books. But right now, I just feel like I've been chained to the doghouse. Oh dear. Oh dear. After the battle, why don't you try talking to her about this, Captain? The root of your problem with Chigara is most likely the stress of the coming battle, because you're both instinctively afraid of what may happen. Chigara may be rushing things ahead of what she may normally be comfortable with as well. Alright, Doc, I'll try that. Claude leaned in with a gentle smile and rubbed Shield's back.
You have a lot on your shoulders, Captain. Don't forget, if things don't work out with Chigara, there's always a lovely doctor in your sickbay willing to alleviate your worries.
Casually hitting on your mentally distressed patient, Doc. You're absolutely the worst! Anyways, that should have been enough time for the distraction. I better beat a hasty exit out of here. Just as Shields was about to call it quits, he spotted a strange-looking holo next to him on Claude's shelf. All the holos on board the ship were now standard issue, Alliance stock. However, this holo clearly looked to be of a different make. Now, what do we have here? For some reason, I have a feeling there's something important on that holo. Maybe it's related to the memories I've temporarily lost. But do I risk blowing my cover or trying to steal it? I mean, we're making bad choices this run, so hell yeah. Let's fucking do it. Try to steal Claude's holo? Yeah. The holo could contain something vital to restoring the rest of my memories. I've got to get my hands on it. Shield suddenly leaned forward and buried his head into her bosom. Alright, Doctor. Thanks for the chat. I feel a lot better now. I can't believe I'm actually doing this!
Oh, Captain!
Claude smiled ear to ear as she took the opening to stroke his hair. Her attention was thoroughly diverted as Shields reached backwards with one hand and swiped the hole off her desk. He hit the hole behind him as he stood. I should head back to work. Gala, see you around.
Anytime, Captain. Let me open the cover.
No need. Looks like you have a lot of work to do in your office. Shields opened the sliding door himself and left Claude in her office, closing the door behind him. As he walked out, he confirmed that their operation was a success. He marched out of the sickbay, a mischievous grin plastered on his face. As he walked to the crew quarter 8, Shields activated the holo and searched through its contents. Now let's see what our past doctor has been up to. His blood went cold when he saw what was inside. From what he could deduce, there was hundreds of message logs inside, containing Claude's reports on what's occurring on board the Sunrider, ever since she first came on board, as well as detailed instructions from the prototypes. And medical reports were proving beyond a shadow of doubt that Chigara was indeed a prototype. Suddenly more memories played back in Shield's head. I have come to suspect there is a great deal of information that our chief medical officer is hiding. What do you mean?
I believe Claude was actually the one who has been relaying our movements to the prototypes. Shit, I remember now. Claude's been working for the prototypes all along. He searched through the remaining data inside the holo. Finally, he came upon a file which contained a cryptic message. The future can only be saved by destroying everything. Oh, well, that sure sounds ominous. But what exactly does it mean? I have to hurry back to the future, Claude, and confront her about this. With that, he quickened his pace to the crew quarter 8. Shields knocked on the ostensibly occupied crew's quarters while the coast was clear. He tapped the intercom and swiped and whispered, "It's me, open up." The door opened and Shields slipped inside. You're back! As you can see, the plan went exactly as planned. He saw Jagara tied up to a chair unconscious from the sedation. Despite successfully kidnapping Jagara, Shields had no cause to celebrate. Doc, you're gonna have to explain yourself. He pulled out the holo. I found this on your old self's desk. What is it? You've been communicating with the prototypes all this time, haven't you? There's messages on the holo giving away our movements to the enemy and even medical reports which you wrote, completely invalidating the other report you gave us that Jagara was not a prototype. It's all true. I was aligned with the prototypes during this time frame. But that was me in the past. Poor Claude turned a new leaf now. I'm fighting for the good guys. Why were you working for the prototypes during this time period? Simple alignment of interests, that's all. I sought to rally the galaxy around you, just like the prototypes, but at the Liberation Day massacre occurred, I realized our interests diverged. That's when I left them and took matters into my own hands. The prototypes wanted what? Yes, they sought to make you the leader of humanity, but to control you as their puppet so they could rule the world in your stead, but let's just say that plan never quite planned out, due to the diversion within the prototypes themselves. That's quite a lot to take in. I was fine with helping the prototypes accomplish that, but then the massacre happened. So you're saying basically that you used to work for the prototypes, but now you don't? That doesn't get you off the hook yet. I also found this inside the holo. Shields opened the final file to showed it to Claude. The future can only be saved by destroying everything. What does that mean? This mean? Looks like you finally discovered the hard part of this mission. It's pretty complicated to explain, but the skinny of it is basically, if we're to succeed in this mission and thwart the Liberation Day massacre, both this universe and the past universe we come from will collapse and cease to exist. As it turns out, the space-time continuum's really sensitive to these paradoxes and resolves them quickly, quite forcefully. Collapse? You mean we'll all die anyways, even if we win? Then what the hell's the point of any of this? Well, you're thinking like a human. No, you will simply be wiped from existence. Dying is a natural phenomenon which must inevitably happen to all life forms, but is an entirely different concept from never existing at all. You traveled here from a future which the Liberation Day massacre occurred in order to prevent it, but if you succeed in your mission, the Cato Shields who travel back in this time would cease to exist, as the massacre now never takes place. So then, who would be the man who stopped the massacre? A true logical conundrum. In other words, a time paradox, because if you cease to exist, then you can't come back to fix it, which means, BOOM! Time explodes! Anyways, so then is the future really impossible to change? The future can be changed, that's why I brought you here. At the end of this journey, you must make a choice. Either you stop the Liberation Day massacre occurring and avert the tragedy which befalls upon everyone in destroying this universe and the universe you came from, and replace them with the new universe you create with your decision. Or, you let the massacre occur, accept the tragedy, then this universe will remain untouched. Connect with your timeline, the universe you know will continue to exist for the better or worse. You're telling me if I go through this, everyone I know will vanish from the face of the universe, but then a new universe with copies of those same people will be created? That's the gist of it, yes, and that is the reason why I brought you here.
The key here is the law of causality does everything in its power to resolve time paradoxes, and it does that by deleting the universe where the paradox occurs, and then creating a new universe which can then logically continue to exist from that point on. In this case, you and everyone in this universe, as well as everyone in the universe where the massacre occurred, would be wiped from existence, thus eliminating the time paradox. But then a new universe where the massacre never occurred would be born, and everyone would still exist in that universe, completely oblivious to the fact that a massacre even occurred, or there was a desperate mission to prevent it. Then we can still save everyone by creating a new universe where the massacre isn't prevented, but simply never existed at all. Ah, now you're understanding how this all works, Captain.
I don't understand any of this. My head hurts. But in the end, the me right now is gonna vanish from existence. But then I'll still be another Asaga who won't even know there was a mission to change the future. I'll just live on never knowing there was ever an event like the Liberation Day Massacre. Basically, in this circumstance, I intentionally sought to create a time paradox in order to manipulate the laws of causality into destroying the universe you don't want into creating the one you do want. Well, it was pretty drastic, but it's not like there's anyone out there who could stop me, so...
Well, maybe you can stop you, but at the same time, you implode the universe. God damn it.
It's pretty convenient that this little quirk of law of causality has. I've been using it to create and destroy universes for... I forgot. I'm immortal. Who knows how long I've been doing this? Anyways, now that your choices have been laid out in front of you, I want you to choose Kato Shields, Hero of the Galaxy. That's the entire reason why I brought you here. All this is so I can watch you more. I want to watch you run around, fighting desperately against the impossible odds. I want to see the tears in your eyes when you fail, the euphoria coursing through your veins when you're victorious. The bigger the stakes, the more torture your dilemmas, the mightier your enemies, the more I want to see you fight, because it brings me so much pleasure seeing you in action.
Claude's entire body flushed bright red as she squirmed her legs.
I think...
Okay, alright, sure, you know, that's normal. I was gonna make that joke, but the game laid it out for me. Fucking hell,
I think I might have come a little.
Claude, you bastard! She's toying with me, just like always. Come to think of it, was there ever a moment when she wasn't playing me like a fiddle? The whole time I've known her. Ah! Claude, I'm through with being your plaything. We're in this too deep. We have to... Oh, so I guess my other option... I chose the good option then, I guess. Because I didn't get, like, killed or anything. Well, let's continue on. Claude, I'm through being your plaything. We're in this too deep. We have to keep working together, yeah?
Good call, Captain. I knew I could count on you. Ma, it's not too bad. You have once-in-a-lifetime chance to changing the future. Isn't Claude such a generous god? But before you get excited with the knowledge that you have a deity on your side, you should now understand why I can't use my power to willy-nilly. It'd be a pain if I were to accidentally wipe out a universe or two from existence by causing an unintended time paradox myself. Every use of my power must be carefully planned in advance so that they bring about consequences I want. The result otherwise would not be pretty. So basically, I can't count on her to pull me out of the fire using her power anymore. Alright? Nothing productive is going to come out of fighting amongst each other. Whatever it is that we're going to do from now, we have to work together to accomplish it. As if to make matters worse, Shigar began to stir in her sleep. She was sharply inhaled and concerned. Shit, Doc, how much longer is Shigar going to be sedated for? Still around 4 hours. With the full dosage, Shigar is going to be sound asleep for a full 8 hours.
Suddenly Claude froze.
Never mind.
Doctor, what do you mean, never mind?
I forgot that this timeline I actually gave Chigara half a dosage of sleep pills, so that would wake her up early enough to
consummate her love for her captain the night before the final battle. Shields nearly collapsed at Claude's mistake. What do you mean you forgot? I thought you were supposed to be a god! Well, when you live for as long as I have, there's just so much to remember. How could I ever be expected to recall such a tiny detail like that? Then how much longer do we actually have until Chigara wakes up? Maybe until about now? As if on cue, Chigara sleepily opened her eyes. This is awkward! Cap... What's going on, Captain? Why am I tied up to this chair? Captain, and Doctor, and Asaga! Chigara's eyes darted around the room while she struggled against the ropes in her panic. Shit. For now, I've got to calm Chigara down. Chigara, don't worry. I'm here. I'll protect you. All of a sudden, Shields felt at a loss. His usual collected demeanor fell apart. Random words merely leaked from his mouth as he spoke to Chigara in a daze. Chigara. He felt her die in his very arms when her spark left her body. A demon had awakened in him. A demon willing to burn the entire galaxy in order to avenge her. Despite being a spy, despite betraying him, despite murdering countless Alliance leaders, Shields had loved her with his entire heart. And that's exactly how the Shields in this universe feels about her. Chigara, calm down and listen to me. Shields knelt down in front of her. Despite waking up tied to a chair, the sight of her lover's face managed to calm her fears.
What is it, Captain? I admit, this is quite a strange way of waking up after a doctor's visit. But you wouldn't do anything bad to Chigara, would you? I trust you.
I'm about to tell you something important, but no matter what happens, I'll protect you. Because this time, I'm going to save everyone, including you, Chigara. Alright, here I go. The truth is, you're... Ah! Oh! That scream! That was slightly intentional and slightly real! I was gonna say, oh god, but it just turned into a ah! Oh god, Shields could never finish his sentence. It's exactly that moment the gate in the crew quarters exploded, smithereens momentarily blinding everyone inside. Oh god, there's actual people! In a flash, Marines filed into the room. By the time Shields had recovered his vision, he was completely surrounded by a squad of armed troops pointing their rifles at him. Shit! Slowly raised his hands over his head. In front of him, Asaga did the same. Wait a minute. He looked around in confusion. Claude had somehow vanished. Oh. Did she use her powers to escape? Before he could put or deduce another thought, the Marines grabbed onto him and pushed him out into the hallway. Oh, well, this is nice. I mean, we're in pretty far. I don't know how much is left. But we're in pretty far. Shields kept his hands on top of his head as the Marine shoved him to his knees. A wall armed troops in full body armor stood in front of him. The human wall parted, let the man through. The human wall parted to let the man through to face Shields. It was himself. Well, I'll be damned. Ah, oh, crap. Shields clenched his teeth as he stared down Kate's Shields. You really do look like an identical copy. Just then, Chigara emerged from the room and escorted by the pair crewmen. She immediately ran to the other Shields and embraced him.
Captain, I'm so glad you're here. Just what in the world's going on? I feel like the doctor accidentally prescribed me the wrong medication. I'm hallucinating.
Oh, trust me, this is real. The ship's security has been compromised by 2 intruders. One of them happens to look identical to me. This fellow right here. Ah, fuck, my cover's been blown. Now Chigara's playing along with my past self-suspicions. And on top of all that, does my voice seriously sound like that? I sound so lame. I thought my voice was so much deeper. Well, my voice is deep. I've been giving you a deep voice, so I guess I gotta give you a lighter voice than Kato. Fucking hell. As if I already have enough problems. I don't know what I guess I gotta give him a lighter voice. I've been using my normal voice for Hazel spiking seriously, but I guess I gotta go like this, guys. I don't know what he sought to gain by kidnapping you, but I intend to find out.
Yes.
You're making a mistake. That girl's not who you think she is. In just a few hours, Shields lost his words when another face emerged from the walls of the Marines. Captain, we've secured Asaga as well. As far as we can tell, she does not appear to be an imposter. She's insisting that all of this is a mistake, and that the man before us is the real Kato Shields. So he's fooled Asaga too then. Get her to the sickbay and make sure she's alright. Take him away, boys. We can find out what he's after once he's secured in the brig. Resume the search for the other imposter. Keep the ship on high alert until she's been found. Understood, sir. As the Marines pushed Shields toward the brig, he tried to face Ava. Ava, you've gotta trust me! I'm Kato Shields! Chigara's a prototype just like you said. If you don't stop her by tomorrow, everything we worked for will be lost! You'll find a holo in the room, just look at it! Oh, and the evidence it holds! One of the Marines pounded Shields' gut with the butt of his rifle. Shut up! He felt two strong hands grip his shoulders and drag him to the brig. Oh, fuck. Well, I think we're fucked. Hi, me. Shields faced the doppelganger as he spoke through the intercom. Oh, God. Listen to me, you dumb oaf. I really am you, just from the future. I've come to warn you of a massacre which will happen. He had repeated this desperate warning to his past self for the better part of the past 2 hours, but it was clear that he's not going through. Chigara is a prototype. If she enters the mind stream in a few hours now, she'll be mind-controlled by the leader of the prototypes and carry out... The other Shields cut him off, his voice cracking with impatience. Alright, enough about Chigara. I want to know how you got on board this ship and who you're actually working for. You're a prototype, aren't you? Have you guys started gathering clones of me too now? Look. It was pretty weird when we discovered you prototypes were making artificial clones of Chigara, but now me too? Just what is up with you guys and making clones of people on board this ship? What were you trying to gain by recruiting Asaga into your mission? And for what purpose did you kidnap Chigara? The motherfucker just told you why! What are you talking about? I mean, you might not believe him, but don't you think it lines up? Wait, what did I say? It's hopeless. There's no way in hell I'm ever going to convince this blockhead that Chigara is going to cause a Liberation Day massacre at this rate. The other Shields sighed in exploration on the other side of the glass. Honestly, Shields was inclined to do the same. He was one agonizingly stubborn individual to argue with. All of a sudden, he felt compelled to apologize to Ava for his personality once all of this war was over. He had never known he was so stubborn until now. Finally, the other Shields left the intercom with an irritated look on his face and spoke to Ava. A solid layer of reinforced neoglass separated Shields from the outside world, making it impossible to hear anything outside of his little fish tank. If only I could hear what they were saying. Wait a minute, I remember reading a maintenance request from about this holding cell. Something about the cell door failing to seal completely. Maybe if I'm lucky, it hasn't been fixed yet. Shields pretended to crumple to the floor in defeat and putting his ear against the crack where the gate came down on the floor. Sure enough, he can now faintly hear the other Shields and Ava exchange. Captain, perhaps we should consider the prisoner's warning seriously. Asaga is convinced that this Kato Shield is telling the truth. Further, the holo we found in the room directly refutes the doctor's prior findings that Chigara is a human and throws grave shadow on all of the doctor's actions for the entire duration of this voyage. In fact, I believe our next move should be to detain both the chief engineer and acting medical officer under suspicion of espionage. No. First off, he's not Kato Shields. Ava, you're going on about that. How many times do I have to tell you? The prototypes just want to sow diversion within our ranks. This imposter's probably their latest attempt at same strategy. In fact, everything here falls under the same pattern of trying to get us to turn on each other. We're one family on board this ship. It's that bond which makes us strong. The prototypes are trying to undermine it. No, you idiot! It's for It's you who's fixated on your goddamn family that you can't see what's obvious to everyone else. Shields nearly banged his head on the cell door in frustration at hearing himself talk. Someone, please give this man a good whomp to the head. But Captain! That's enough, Commander. Please continue to interrogate the prisoner. Find out what the prototypes are after. That's an order. Understood, sir. With that, the other shields left the brig while Ava was left by herself, trembling with anger. It's you who cannot see the truth, Captain. With that, she stormed off into the hallway as well. Shields was left alone inside his cell, as all he could hear was the sound of his own breathing inside the tiny glass cage. He paced nervously inside the cell as time continued to tick by. Now he was stripped of his uniform and was wearing nothing but a basic prisoner jumpsuit. He had no way of telling the time anymore. Now what? Do I wait for Claude to show up again? Just where did she go anyways? God damn it. Short time later, he heard someone knock on the holding tank. Hi, Ava. I knew you'd come. You had to believe me, because you're smart. Anyway, Shields looked to see Ava on the opposite side of class. She pressed the button to open the cell door. Ava? She immediately handed him a new set of captain's uniforms. Come on, I'm getting you out of here. I've managed to get my hands on a new set of authorization codes to go along with the uniform. You'll be able to access the same parts of the ships as before with that. It won't be long until the security comes back. Escape through the emergency maintenance shaft, then meet me inside the life pod 15, where there's no cameras. Do you understand? Yeah. Ava spun around and left the brig as quickly as she appeared. With that, Shields quickly put on his uniform and escaped the maintenance shaft he was ordered. 46 minutes and 10 hours. Okay. He entered life pod 15 and... Okay, so, I guess this is gonna go on for quite some time, so let's make our next save, and we'll continue this. I'll continue this right now, but we'll continue this in the next episode. Thank you all for watching. If you like this, thumbs up button, save with your favorites, also share with your friends. This is Conixis. You can follow me on Twitter, link is in the description below. Thank you all for watching. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.